Okay, everybody, let's get started. So today, um, today's webinar, we're going to be working on editing attendance. And we do that in the membership module. So I'm going to open up that. So there's really two main screens that you can edit attendance on in one form or another. A third one, a little bit, not as much. To access those, you click on attendance, the attendance button here. So the two main ones we're going to be looking at today are attendance entry and browse attendance. So the first one we're going to start with is browse attendance, the second option. I'll let that pop up. All right, so this screen will show you, by default it shows you all the attendance entered for the current year, sorted by attendee. So it shows you each person who has attended something in the system this year, how many times they were present, excused, communion, that sort of thing. If a particular person was marked as having attended an event that they didn't, it's usually easiest to go in here to remove them from that event. So say Nina, this first line, if we click the plus sign, it shows you all the different things that she's been marked as having attended. If you know she didn't, for example, attend, let's just sort it by date, and you can change the sort of the screen by clicking on these different column headers. So if you want to sort it by date or the name of the group, you can just click on it here. So you can see it's sorting by date by that little arrow, up arrow. So say Nina, didn't attend anything in January. So you go to her record and you just click to uncheck them, or you can use the arrow keys and the space bar on your keyboard to uncheck them. And then when I click refresh attendance down here in the bottom right, you can go back to view her attendance. You can see, she's now marked as having only attended 18 times instead of 23 like it was before. And nothing in, let me uncheck those. You can see, so it's 17 and nothing in January. So that's how you remove attendance from somebody on this screen. If you need to add attendance to, for one particular person on one particular date, you can also do that on this screen. You can go up here and say it was like, oh, she actually did attend January 14th for something. You can type her name up here, Nina, and then click add attendance. And then that will bring up the add attendance window. And so you can see her name is selected here. And then I can go down and select the event by either typing it in. So I can select Sunday worship, or I can click on the drop down and scroll up through my list to find it. So let me just select, say, evening worship, and I'll say she attended and communed, and I have to select the date as well. And you can either that's an error message. I'll have to let the developers know. You can either type in the date, so let me do 01/14/2016, or you can select it from the calendar by clicking on the drop down and scrolling through the various months. So then when I click save, it will refresh this screen. And if I click the plus sign here and sort by date again, you can see that January 14th date is now shown as she is being marked as present. And that's how you add attendance on the screen. If you need to, say, print attendance for a particular person or for a particular date, and to have it show all the different, check boxes and everything, you can do that from this screen as well. So if you want to just print everybody's attendance for everything, you just make sure pretty much anything you see in the grid is what will print. So, Nina's name, the date, all the events, present, excuse, communion. If all that, whatever's showing here on the grid essentially is what will print. So if I go up here and click the print button, it'll generate the print preview. And then you get the print preview that shows each person sorted by that person and then by that date. The date they attended, the event, if they were present, excused, or communed. For everybody in the list. And at the end of each person, it has a breakdown of total, present, excused, communion. Let me close out of that. If you want to print out an attendance for just one person, you have to make sure you have to type that person's name up here in the top left. So I'll just do Nina again, and then if I click print, that's how you bring this. Then you click print, and since Nina's was the only name in the grid, hers is the only one on the printable report. You can also change the report to look at only certain dates or certain events. So say I'm not interested in the Sunday evening or the evening worship one, so I'm only really interested in people that attended the Sunday AM worship. I select that from the events group classes up here, and you can see anything that's not Sunday AM worship has disappeared from the grid. And if I'm only interested in a certain date range, I can change that on this screen as well. If I click the change dates, filter and sort, or change dates, columns and sort button here on the left, that will open up the attendance grid and report setup. And then this is where you can change the date range. And you can tell it whether or not you want to show the codes or the descriptions on the report itself. And then this is where you can also choose the different columns to say you don't care about excused or communion, you just care about if they're marked present. And this is where you can also change the sorting. So then if we I'm just going to only look at the first 3 months of the year and click OK. You can see now nothing past the end of March is showing up in the list. And if I make it so I'm looking at everybody by getting rid of Nina from this top left, it will show everybody's attendance from January to March. So that's it for this screen. Let me close out. The other main screen I wanted to show you is the attendance entry screen. This is where you'll do like your bulk corrections or bulk editing of attendance. the say for example you're entering attendance, and let's just go to Sunday AM worship, and say you realize when you've run reports that you've entered attendance for the wrong date. Like for example, if we are looking at the calendar grid here by clicking on the drop down on the date, anything that is green is a date that has attendance entered for it. As we can see, Wednesday the 27th of January has attendance entered. But since that is a Wednesday, not a Sunday, it has been entered on the incorrect date. It should have been on the 24th. So if we select that, we can see all the attendance that has been entered for people. And just like your normal attendance entry, you can mark people attended or not attended, like before, and it will save when you move on to the next person. If we need to move it to a different date, what we're going to do is copy the attendance from the 27th and move it to the 24th. So to do that, in the top right corner up here, we'll click the copy button, and that'll bring up the copy attendance screen. And then by default, it shows the event that we're currently in. So this is, you're telling it where we want it to copy to. So we still want to copy to Sunday AM worship, but now we need to choose the date. So I'm going to choose the 24th. So I'm copying it to January 24th. And then this last checkbox down here in the options section, that is that's kind of the most important part of this screen. This gives you the option to delete attendance for the old date. In this case, since it was entered in with the wrong date in the first place, we do want to delete that attendance. So if we have that checked and click copy, we don't get like a big celebration screen saying that it has changed, but you will see up here in the date field, the date is now January 24th, and it has all the attendance that you had marked previously on the 27th showing up here. And if we click on the calendar drop-down arrow, we'll see that the 27th is no longer green, and if we go to it, no one is marked as having attended. So that's how you copy and delete the old attendance. But say you have a relatively stable attending group. You can also copy attendance, from one Sunday to the next, and not delete the attendance. You can just do that by, again, clicking copy, selecting this, same event and everything. But in this case, where it says, so I'll just select the next Sunday, July 3rd. When you have this checkbox to delete the attendance, you do not check it. And then you click copy. And now it shows the date here as July 3rd. And if we click on the drop down, the 26th still has the attendance. That's just a way to, if only a couple people did not change, it's just a quick way to select everybody who attended the last time, and then you can go through the list and uncheck a couple people that didn't attend, and check a couple people that did attend. It's just a way to potentially save time. if attendance was, say, entered in for a particular event and date that it should not have been, period. Um, there's no correcting it to another day because the attendance was either duplicated or, um, you know, put the wrong event and the right event was already entered. You have the option to delete an entire day's worth of attendance as well. So you to do that, you select the you select the event, you select the date that you need to delete, and then you just go over here and click the delete button. And when you click delete, it'll basically ask you to confirm that, are you sure you want to delete all attendance for Sunday AM worship on, that particular date. So it's going to tell you the event that you're deleting attendance on and that date. And then when you click yes, it will blank out that screen. It'll have delete that attendance. And if we go back to that day, May 8th, select it, you now see that there is no attendance entered anymore. You can also print from this screen. It won't print in a grid. You don't have the option to print in a grid like you did on Browse Attendance. If you want to print a grid for a particular day, you have to either use that, the Browse Attendance, or the attendance report. But if you want to print a list of people who did attend this day with other information, or a summary of it, or email people who attended, that sort of thing, you can do that from this screen easily. It will only pick people who you have marked as present. So on this day, I have 105 people marked as present. If I go up here and click print, I have a few different options. You have the normal reports directory, export, labels, email, or summary by event. If I select that and then click print, because it comes formatted with all the information to select just that particular event on that day. I click print, it will show you how many members, visitors, and total you have selected for that day, and you can add other columns on that. We have other webinars you can look at on how to use this particular report. But say you want to just run a report just to show you all the people that attended with, say, maybe their emails or something like that. If you click reports directory, export, that'll bring up the reports screen where you can then choose whether or not you want to do a directory or a mail merge export or a basic report. Same options as in the when you run your normal reports. So say I just wanted a list of everybody's name, address, and home phone. Just select basic columnar report and click print, and it gives me a list of everybody who is marked as present in the list. If I click the blue eye up here in the very top of the screen, it'll give me the count, which is 105, which is how many I have marked present, and it tells me the event and the date. I'll close out of all that, and it's the same options for labels and emails. If I click labels, I have the option to do one label per individual, giving unit, or family. So same basic concept for those there. All right, so those are the two main screens. The last screen I want to show you today is the transfer attendance screen. Say you've been entering attendance for somebody but you realize after a few months that the attendance was entered into the wrong family member, or the wrong person. Like you say, you only had the last name and you were guessing, something like that. This transfer attendance screen allows you to move all the attendance entered for somebody, or selected attendance entered for somebody, to somebody else. So the from attendee here on the left, it will only show people who you have attendance marked for. Let me see, I had one set up before. So say Eric Bernard, you have him marked as having attended, all these dates. But you realize afterwards that it was really his sister that had attended. I believe her name is Nikki Bernard. So if I select the two attendee, so this is telling the system to move attendance from Eric Bernard to Nikki Bernard. If I click the transfer selected, it says, are you sure you want to transfer all the attendance on the left there to Nikki Bernard? I say yes. And now all the attendance that was on Eric is now on Nikki. So if we close out and go back into transfer attendance, if we look in the list, Eric has no longer have any attendance marked for him while Nikki shows up. Let's do another one, only moving a couple of them. So Evan Bernard has all this attendance marked to him. Say some of them should have been marked to Stuart. Say you found out that Stuart actually attended these couple of days, but Evan didn't. But because both their last names were Bernard, everything got marked under Evan Bernard. So you can unselect all, and so at the moment, no attendance would be moving over to Stuart. But if I want to move, say, everything in January over, do that. So everything I have checked is what will move over. So if I click transfer selected, are you sure you want to transfer the selected attendance to Stuart Bernard? I say yes. And then now you see Evan Bernard doesn't have any attendance marked for January anymore, and then Stuart does. So it moved from Evan to Stuart. Let me just close out of that now. And essentially that is all I have to show for you today about editing attendance and things like that. If you came in late, or if you want to watch this again, this is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube page, along with all of our other webinars that we've done. To access that, you just have to go to youtube.com/churchwindows, and that'll take you to our user profile where you can enter in, or you can view all the other videos we have. Really, other than that, I am done. Do you guys have any questions about these particular functions? I'm not seeing any questions pop in. Looks like the one question that came in, Kellyanne dealt with earlier, so that's good. Yep, you are welcome, Jerry. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions popping in? So I'm just going to close out of a session. If you end up having any questions about this, you can always give us a call. Or if you don't want to talk directly, you can always just email us at support@churchwindows.com, and one of the techs here will respond to your email. Thanks. Let me just close out of our session, and you guys have a good one. Thanks. Bye.